forever. I love it when my feet don't touch the ground, touch the ground. Don't wanna let these colors fade, kaleidoscopes inside my head. Just wanna feel like this, just wanna feel like this forever.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver. Reaching out. Rainbow Road.
Hello and welcome again to our weekly Aftermath. This is the AVGL Aftermath, where we cover everything that's been going on in the American Video Game League. This is our collegiate season, so we're keeping up with all of our, specific college leagues and what's going on with all of them. And so let's dive into it and meet all the rest of our people. I'm your host, Hitchhiker of the Mind, joined by, we'll start out with the first one up and to the left. J-Mac, how you doing, and who are you and what you do?
Well, my name is Jim Mac Tucker. I'm one of the casters for the Smite division here at AVGL, and we've got some fun news for you guys this week.
Perfect. Next up, Mr. Cameron Davis. Let him know about yourself, Mr. Cameron Davis.
I'm Cameron Davis. I am, I guess, the main CSGO guy here for AVGL. I don't know. It's like officially, unofficially.
Hey,
I do Counter-Strike stuff.
Perfect. Hey, we needed somebody to do it, and you're our man.
Right?
Next, our official Paladins guy, Strixus, let him know.
What's up, everybody? I'm Strixus, content producer here for AVGL, also one of the Paladins guys. Also dabble a little bit in Smite, but Paladins is definitely currently my main scene here. Yeah.
And by dabbling, he means completely obsessed with both.
Yeah, I mean, I love them. The games are great.
Well, Hi-Res has done an amazing job, and we're actually really glad to have them, supporting our leagues and everything. It's been really cool working with them.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Hi-Res, let's go into our recaps. J-Mac, take us through what's going on with Smite.
Well, this last weekend was our championship weekend. A lot of intense, crazy smite that happened. Unfortunately, no games that went to a best-of-3 set. All of our sets this weekend ended up being a 2-0. Let me get the picture for that. I've forgotten a couple of the teams just off the top of my head there. Our first one was in the Gaelic Conference. It was the matchup of Salisbury University versus St. Joseph's, the one that I was super, super pumped for. Salisbury commandingly defeated St. Joseph's University, handed them the 2-0 loss onto that one. They got to move on to our semifinals. In the Olympus Conference, it was University of Tennessee Orange versus UC Riverside. UT Orange once again got another big 2-0 victory over UCR. Ended about the same way that it did during the regular season. In the Ragnarok Finals, it was Stony Brook versus Ohio State. And again, under big expectations, we talked a lot about the Shake a Show for Ohio State. Just did not work out for them, and the boys at Stony Brook were able to move on to our semis. And lastly, in the Yomi Conference, it was Penn State versus Tarrant County College. Tarrant County was our projected #1 seed, and they had pretty much zero struggle taking down Penn State. It looked a little shaky early in game 1, but as soon as game 2 hit, they just kicked it into second gear and just dominated. That was our Saturday gameplay. Sunday gameplay was our semifinal matchups. That was our remaining 4 teams. First seed was Tarrant County, second seed Salisbury, third seed Stony Brook, and fourth seed University of Tennessee. In our University of Tennessee versus Tarrant County matchup, it was a handedly 2-0 victory in favor of Tarrant County. Our #1 seed came out strong, showing them why they're #1 and why they were #4. It was a crazy game to watch. I know we got some stupid clips from that. I mean, let's just leave it at this. I made a tweet about this. It will be relevant, and I will change it as soon as the season is over because my current pinned tweet on my Twitter is about day to remember. But North America cannot secure objectives. Nobody knows how to secure their fire giants, their portal demons, their gold furies. None of it. Nobody in North America knows how to do it. That's all that this league has been. If you've ever seen the top 10 plays of the AVGL Smite, I think 7 of them are objective steals.
Holy hell.
And that's all that they are. It's just objective steals. If you stole an objective on stream, you're probably in the top 10 place. So Tarrant County, Tarrant County College came out with a big 2-0 onto that one. Now for the matchup that we all kind of got a little bit shook on, which was Salisbury versus Stony Brook. A lot of us here as the casters and even some of the players were kind of projecting Salisbury to get the victory. We were kind of expecting it to be a really close game, but to more so favor Salisbury. No, not even close. It looked almost as bad as Salisbury versus St. Joseph's, but the other way around.
Yeah.
Stony Brook dominated Salisbury University. I think it was no less than a 20-kill deficit both games. I couldn't believe it at the same time. And it excited me because we put a team at 3rd and they showed us we're not 3rd seed. We're #2 now. Or maybe even #1 as the land is going to be coming up pretty shortly. So our 2 teams that will be going to land are going to be Tarrant County College, piloted by Captain Puckham, and Stony Brook University and their captain, Mort Brooklyn.
Good old Puckham. I remember he's been around for a while now.
Yeah, 2nd season with us.
Hey, always good to see people returning. You know, it's a good time, so why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like it's been quite an exciting weekend for Smite. Sorry I didn't get any 3-0s, but it sounds like the upsets were a little more entertaining than a 3-0 could have been.
Yeah.
Or a 3-game series could have been.
3-game series, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right, well, let's see what's going on with CSGO with Mr. Cameron. What's going on
So this was our last week of regular season, and so at the end of... Okay. There's still one game that needs to be played, but for the most part, we know the top 2 teams in each group. We know who's going to be going off to our playoffs. There's 8 groups, and so the top two teams are going to get starting off with a round of 16. The only one that has yet to be decided yet is actually Group A here, where the Ottawa GGs do have the 1st seed undeniably. But then in 2nd place, it's either between Alini Esports Team Ignis or Ryerson University. And they were actually supposed to meet on week 1. and they had to reschedule that, and it's now they're making it up this Saturday, and so whoever wins that one is going to have, because they have the same scoreline, so whoever wins that one is going to break the tiebreaker to advance on with Ottawa off of Group A into our playoffs. Group B, McMaster, they didn't go undefeated this entire season, but they definitely still have the first seed that they've had established from pretty much the very beginning. And then Central Missouri came up. I don't know if I talked about it on here, but this was a dark horse that completely blindsided me when looking at this group. I've been talking about how Michigan State University and MC Edgelords were the two teams that were fighting over second seed, but then Missouri came up from the bottom, matched their scoreline, and then had the head-to-head against both of them. And so now Missouri is going to actually be taking the second seed over both of those, along with McMaster. Group C, Donald's Deplorables, obviously going to maintain their first seed the entire time. And then Montreal, even though they ended up with a tied scoreline with Queens College, their head-to-head dominant head-to-head victory is going to put them solidly at the second seed. Group D, we actually don't have any tiebreaker here because Georgetown University, they had to forfeit their game just this last Sunday. It's just only a two-way tie for first between Carleton University and CTEC. So what was looking like could be a really chaotic end to this group ended up just being clean.
Nice.
Then in Group E, we have University of Central Florida going an undefeated season, staying at the top, and then Georgia Tech A team climbing up and actually overpassing University of Kentucky to take the second seed, which I saw coming like a week or two ago, but halfway through the season, I thought it was going to be Kentucky solidly at number 2. Group F, it's still the same two teams at the top, GMU and KSU. It's just after we saw them play, GMU is solidly at the top in the first seed, but KSU still, just because solid victories against everyone else below them, is going to be in the second seed. Group G, we got UCI Gold, and then actually this happened last week where USCS and UBC Cat Bubbles played together, and UCSC Slugs and UBC Cat Bubbles, so many letters. They played each other on week 7, and UCSC won that match, and so they got the head-to-head, and so they solidified themselves in the second seed, and so they're advancing with UCI Gold. And then finally, Group H, UC San Diego, another undefeated team. CSULB couldn't make the Cinderella story happen, and so they're stuck in third while CU Boulder take the second seed. And so those are going to be our 16 teams that are going to advance. We're going to see them all play off unless the schedules change, but I don't think it's going to be the last weekend of April.
Damn, just finishing off the April anarchy for us. It sounds like that's
best for last.
Whew, man, with so many close things and so many undefeated teams, it's going to be a hell of a 16-team breakdown.
Yeah,
a hell of a finals. That's awesome. Can't wait to see who climbs out of that pile. Like, because it's like so many upsets and so many just different ways to play the game.
It's going to be it's going to be a scrappy one.
Heck yes. Speaking of scrappy ones, let's go over to Paladins. What's been going on there, Drixus?
Well, speaking about the end of the AVGL, the end of April Anarchy. Excuse me. We just had our first AVGL April Anarchy bracket end this past weekend with Paladins. We had the final two teams play on LAN at Hi-Res Studios during the Paladins Masters LAN, which we previously talked about. So cool. They played right before the semifinals of the actual Masters LAN. So there were 2 people, I believe, in the tournament who are still in the tournament by the semifinals that played. So they ended up playing in the AVGL finals. Technically 1 player, 1 coach. So Evil Eye, or Vuli, his name is pronounced a couple different ways. He's a player for Astral Authority, and they played in the semifinals. And Powtek is their coach, and he also played during the AVGL finals. So it was a really intense set. So game 1 was was really back and forth. Rowan took control of the game super early. Then they ended up losing a couple points. Davenport came back online really hard, and then brought the game back to a 3-3 scoreline. And then Rowan, in surprising fashion, took the final point to take the first game. Game 2 then, however, was an absolute stomp by Rowan. 4-0 on Stone Keep. Their composition was great. It seemed like Davenport was having trouble dealing with Z1 and Fire, Z1 Unknown and Fire specifically. They were just putting out a lot of pressure, a lot of damage. It was really crazy to watch them just dominate that game. And then the final game was easily the best game of the set. The third, sorry, I gave it away. I apologize. But the third game was easily the best game of the set. Rowan did end up taking it. Again, like the first game, Rowan got got ahead early. But Davenport just I don't the thing is they played the last map they played on is called Ice Mines. Ice Mines is historically known as the 3-3 map because it's extremely difficult if you're playing if you're playing against a fairly even matched team. You're never going to push the payload because if they kill you once, you're not getting back to it in time. So by nature of that, it got to a 3-3. I think Rowan captured it once, and then Davenport had captured it. Sorry, Rowan captured it twice, and Davenport had captured it once. And then the final push, Rowan got it to 96, got the payload captured to 96%, and then Davenport killed them all, got it to 96%. And then there was a giant fight at the very end. Eager's Wiffle got a triple kill. Panda Global's Z1 Unknown got a triple kill. Wiffle on Lex and Z1 on Eevee, and both their other teammates had died, so it was literally a 1v1 for the final point, and Z1 took it and secured the 3-0 for Rowan University. It was easily. It was crazy. It was
hype as hell.
Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. It was I went back and watched that last fight like 4 times after I saw that, because I was just like, I can't believe that it ended that way. But it was fantastic. I'm excited to see if we do more Paladins in the future, which I'm sure we will be. I'm excited to see more plays like that for sure. I'd love to see some of these guys come back.
Holy hell, a 1v1 to finish off a series. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, and for everybody watching, you can't see it, but our producer, Jithens, who goes to Rowan, he, as soon as he's like, oh, I gave it away, and he's just like, he's so proud of his university. And he should be. They kicked ass. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
So for Dota this week, usually we have Party PD here or somebody to represent Dota. I'll be covering Dota for you this week, so it's not going to be as in-depth as usual, but it's coming up on the finals, so maybe it's a good thing, keep it hidden from me, all that good stuff. So we still have 5 teams who are still undefeated going into the finals. We've got the UC Davis Aggies, Stony Brook University, who's been killing it in like every single one of these games. I mean, I don't know what's in the water at Stony Brook, but I could use some of it. Washington State University is sitting at 7-0, as well as University of Waterloo, UMass Ahurst, UBC Dota, and UBC Dota. They're down 1. Same with the Cornell Big Red Bears, who we saw in previous seasons. So those are another 2 teams I think you should really definitely keep an eye on. But so those are kind of our standings in Dota. We've had some pretty stompy fights as far as Dota goes. We've been seeing a lot of 2-0s and a lot of, divisions shaking themselves out pretty clearly, and it's going to be nice to see them all facing up against each other to see who comes out on top, because, with, Dota is very similar to Smite, as where you see a bunch of different kind of metas develop in separate leagues, and see them coming together to see which meta is going to come out on top is going to be really interesting. And with the new patch 7.05 coming out, which makes it easier to hit top level at 25, I think it's really going to be an exciting hype final this coming up this weekend. So let's head into our plays of the week, brought to you by Twitch. We've got 2 separate plays for you, and if you ever clip anything, you can tweet the clip at us, and if it's really good, you'll know your clip could end up on the AVGL Aftermath. So let's get to it. These are the top plays of the week, brought to you by Twitch.
the same point, we also do have the law ready to be carried out at any point for Davenport. The fight coming in at 93 to 96%. It's coming down to just these last 3%. There comes the law, but it was a nice proc of the Ancient Rage to keep out that damage from really finding the sustain. But Wi-Fi with a double, looking for a triple. It's coming down to trade versus trade. The Ice Storm gets there, but a triple for Wi-Fi. It's Z1 versus Wi-Fi, the former teammates, and Z1 wins it up, and Rowan University takes the set 3 maps to none.
It all comes down to
I am going to take your Portal Demon and I am going to do your Fire Giant. It is already at about 80% health right now, but there are still members of Tarrant County waiting in the jungle, specifically Data remembering Cardiac, the scariest ones to see. August popping that Thorn's not really doing anything for him. Data remember isn't even scared to attack in. Fire Giant is going to be stolen away so easily. Are you kidding me? You can't.
what is this game? Both objectives getting stolen away.
The same point, we also
Those are your AVGL top plays of the week, brought to you by Twitch. And as you saw, that fight for Paladins did not disappoint. Holy cow. I think you might have undersold it. So it's just like, that was fantastic. So those were our top plays of the week. Let's go on to our event of the week. And of course, it's going to be our very own Dota 2 finals. And I've told you the teams to watch, and we've got a bracket set up on Challenge. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm going to say it. Challenge, exactly. And so you can go to Challenge. It just kills me, that name. You can go to Challenge, and then you can set up your very own bracket and try to predict out the AVGL Anarchy for prizes. We're going to have in-stream prizes. We've got a lot of cool stuff to give away, so make sure you're watching the AVGL this weekend, not just to see how things are going to shake out with all of the other games, which have been hype as hell, but also see how these finals for Dota 2 are going to work out. And so that's going to be our game of our event of the week, because let's face it, we like our own events. So with that, let's head on to general news. Let's start out with, let's do some CSGO to kick it off. Cameron, take us through what's going on with CSGO.
So just last weekend was the Star Series, SLI League Star Series Season 3 finals, which saw FaZe actually do a surprise. Well, I don't really want to call it an upset, but everyone did think Astralis was going to take their second big event gold medal, and a lot of people were saying like, oh, if they win this, and then it'll solidify it as being the age of Astralis that we're currently in right now. But it ends up FaZe took revenge for their last loss, the last event, which was Poland, somewhere Kiev, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, for NA fans, CLG, after being considered for the longest time probably one of the least impressive North American professional teams, made it pretty far. They actually made it out of groups, partly due to the fact that it was the Swiss system, and so it's just luck of the draw on who they played off against. But then disappointment-wise, SK and VP for 2 events in a row didn't make it out of groups into playoffs, and so these two teams that have been really good for a really long time, both of them struggling right now, is a little disappointing to see. And then but now that that's done, we're back on to more online leagues for a couple of weeks until we go to DreamHack Austin, which is at the end of April, and then IEM Sydney at the very beginning of May. And that's for just professional events. What happened when we were setting up this broadcast right now is that CSGO announced that the Negev is being reintroduced back into competitive play at $2,000. That's cheaper than an AK, as a way to promote experimentation in competitive games. So if you like the Negev, go back and play. If you don't like the Negev, then stay off of competitive for a while.
Now, why do you think the Negev is going to be such a big upset?
Oh, did I not talk about the Negev on here?
No,
They changed it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I thought I did. They changed the Negev so that instead of how... Yeah, I'm positive I did.
Okay, maybe.
When you start shooting, they start off really small and then bloom out.
Yeah.
The Negev does the opposite as a way to be some sort of like covering fire, sort of like just you can't cross this path. You can't turn a corner and instantly kill someone because the aim's going to be all over the place. But after a couple of seconds, it's going to be laser thin. Usually the Negev is more expensive than an op, I'm pretty sure, which is why no one ever really buys it, because it's just not economically viable.
Yeah.
But now they're making it $2,000 just so people are more like, it's easier for people to get it in their hands, and so they can experiment with it and see how viable the negative actually is.
That's the one dev who made the negative. He's like, no, really, if you make it affordable, everyone's gonna want it.
Well, no, I mean they're not going to keep it at $2,000. It's just a way to have a large enough sample size of it being used to figure out if it's overpowered, underpowered, viable, all that.
That makes sense.
But the point is, it's going to be there. And this is including online games. I don't know if things like ESL are gonna.
Oh damn! I have
Oh wow.
But I know I have a game tonight with another collegiate league, and that's going to be there. So I'm curious to see if that's happening.
You'll have to let us know how it goes.
It's like a forced meta shift kind of then? Like, see how this works?
The developers of Counter-Strike have this idea in their head that they want every single weapon in the game to be competitively viable. And, like, I get where that's coming from, but I think that they may be losing... They may be overstepping it. Like, I get where that's coming from, but there's a point that they would have... There is a point that you would have to upset how the game is played on a fundamental basis to make a certain gun viable, and the worry is that they would break that to make all the guns viable.
I could see that. Yeah, and not only that, then you have to get good with every single gun. No.
Somebody's saying that Sivo's banned it in competitive play, by the way.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Okay, then we won't be seeing it tonight then.
All right.
Eventually. Now, hopefully, it'll find its place and they'll figure out what they're doing with it. So, with that, let's head on to Smite. What we got going on in Smite, J-Mac?
Patch notes 4.6, I believe, have hit today, so you can go play your Smite Mario Kart Racing, try out the new adjustments to Hades, see how he works out for you. But we covered patch notes last time, so we're going to kind of cover the upcoming Spring Gauntlet and Smite console finals that are going to be coming up in the next 2 weeks. This weekend is going to be the Spring Gauntlet finals. This is the 14 teams, the bottom 6 North American, the bottom 6 EU, and the Challenger Circuit winner from each of those regions, all coming together to play in a massive gauntlet. Starts out with match 1. For both regions, it's going to be the Challenger Circuit finalists, their number 1 seed from Challenger Circuit, versus the bottom seed SPL. Then they have to play the 7th seed, then the 6th seed, then the 5th seed, and so on, all the way up until it gets to the finals, which is NRG for EU and EU United for NA. If you want a full list of what teams are going to be playing in what order, you can find it on the esports.smitegame.com website. They have full information, and it'd take me 20-30 minutes just to go through all of those. One thing that I will add on with the Smite Gauntlet finals that are happening this weekend is on each of the 3 days it's being streamed, there are increased Twitch drops. So if you have your high-res account linked, you have a chance to win chest rolls and gems and things like that. And now Hi-Rez is adding skins in. Well, they already had the Twitch Ymir skin. Friday they have 5 skins that are going to be up for grabs in drops, which will be Chilling Grasp Opwash, Tormentula Arachne, Clockwork Knight Alquang, Igneous Terra, and Jurassic Camazotz. All skins that I don't believe that you can get except for maybe the Arachne skin. I think all of the other ones were from the Odyssey, which is no longer technically available for direct purchase. Saturday is going to be Foxy Amaterasu, Celestial Isis, Monster Trainer Erlong Shen, Hail to the King Tyr, and Barbarian Thor. All really great skins except for the Amaterasu because it's just a meme. It's a meme skin. It's the what is the Foxy meme? That's what it is.
It's better than the Scotty skin.
It's way better than the Scotty skin, which is the Doge. There's a Doge Scotty skin. It's disgusting. I love it and I hate it so much. But if you really want some nice skins that you haven't had a chance to get, Sunday is the day to get it. Prototype Scylla, probably one of my favorite skins in the game that I don't own.
Oh, yeah.
Steel Samurai Susanoo, another great skin. High Noon Sylvanas, which is his little bandito skin for him, and then his cactus version of Grover. And then Gemini Agni, which is another amazing skin. And then periodically through the 3 days, they're also going to do the Gentleman Ymir, Retro Nuwa, Plague Bearer Izanami, which is an amazing skin, Scarlet Dangerfield Neath, and then it says here, we'll see if Hi-Rez is finally going to start releasing SPL Bologna.
No.
Thank you.
No more.
Thank you.
We might not see any more hashtag SPL Bolognas in the Hi-Rez TV chat anymore.
Hopefully. And then the following weekend, which will probably talk more about later on. But the main reason I want to talk about it, it's going to be the Smite Console League finals on the following weekend, the 21st to the 23rd. That's going to be 6 North American teams, 2 European teams. Full list on the Smite game on the Esports Smite game website. Quarterfinals will take place day 1. Semifinals will be on Saturday, and then the big one on Sunday alongside the SCL Spring Finals is the AVGL Best of 3 Smite Finals, which, as we mentioned, is going to be Tarrant County versus Stony Brook. You gotta tune in for that just because of that. As far as other just general news goes, the Caster, which is the competition that Hi-Rez is going to be putting on in the middle of May, all of their applications have closed. So unfortunately, if you're watching this now and you didn't hear about it, it's a little too late. Caster has closed applications, and this week they're going through and deciding which people they want to bring on. They're only bringing 10 contestants. And
Damn.
This is, I think, like a week-long event or something like that at Hi-Rez Studios.
So what you're saying is we should have people tweet Hi-Rez and be like, pick J-Mac! Pick J-Mac!
I mean, if you want to, you can. I've submitted my application. I'm waiting for word back on it.
He doesn't need our help. He's at the top of the list.
That's true. He should be right there.
Yeah. So Caster's done. And then as far as team news goes and player-wise, Valence Squad from Europe has been renamed and taken over by Enix. Cyclone GG is now under the new name Team Rival. And Team Allegiance, their support player, Polar Bear Mike, is no longer a part of the roster, and they picked up a new support player named Vivian X3D, also known as that guy in your bed, if you have been around the scene long enough for that one. So that's about all of the general Smite news that goes. We'll have kind of the conclusion of this gauntlet and then moving into console next week.
Damn, sounds awesome. That guy in the bed, I forgot about him, to be perfectly honest. That's awesome that he's gotten picked up and everything. So for Paladins, they had their Masters recently, so you heard that we had some AVGL presence there. Strixus, how did it go?
So it went really well. It was extremely exciting. Day 1, we saw the most hyped matches we saw were the ones between Kanga Esports, formerly Abyss from Worlds, and Eager. Kanga ended up taking them out twice in the double elimination style bracket. Hold on.
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Can you guys hear me now?
Watching. Yeah, no, we got you. We had you the whole time. You're good.
Weird. Audio. Okay, my audio was out for some reason. I couldn't hear myself talk or think. But yeah, so D69 D69 ended up getting first in that set. Kanga Esports took second in that group. Day 2, it was Carbon 6, the team name Carbon 6, not the organization, due to some weird stuff with the organization that we don't have to go into. But they ended up getting first in their group. And then Astral Authority, I believe, ended up getting second. And so in the semifinals, it was District 69 versus Astral, and that was a 3-0 for District 69. And the other side, I believe it was a 5-game set between C6 and Kanga. It was a crazy set. Oceania has come a long way. C6 ended up taking it in normal fashion to make it an all-EU finals. Been somewhat of a mainstay for the PC side of Hi-Rez recently. And also, this has happened the last 3 lands. All the last 3 Paladins lands have been all EU finals. Basically, these 2 teams, a couple of different people on each team. And then in the finals, I believe it was a 4-1 to District 69, who ended up taking it. They took their most recent... The last land they took was at DreamHack last summer. So they ended up getting their second land win.
That's awesome. Man, and I know District 69, you said, not a lot of people, like there's granted a bunch of people who saw, that they had a chance at it. You said they were definitely someone to watch, so good on you for that prediction. Like I remember specifically because that is just a good name for
it's a good name
for a team.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then as far as Dota goes, everything's gearing up for the Kiev major. We've got all of the teams all qualified. Even the qualifiers. Team Secret managed to squeeze their way in there. We didn't know how they were going to be doing because they've gone through a bunch of roster stuff. They've had a lot of drama as far as their separation from EE, which was over like a year ago now. But there's still drama coming out about it. But so they managed to put the drama behind themselves and come out and just qualify, which is nice. No real surprises other than that. I mean, it's always good to see Black coming through the SEA qualifier. Him, Ice, Winter, all great people coming back on Faceless. Other than that, Virtus Pro, we were a little worried that they might have fallen out of favor with a few recent patches, but they've shown that they've come back really strong. It's always good to see No One, Solo, and Art Style. They're always entertaining to have around. Other than that, Demon coming back with Team Onyx after he'd been recently dropped from the squad that went to TI with him, and they did really well. So they had the parting ways, but he's coming back to a major. He seems like he always finds a way in. As far as Ad Finum, they got picked up by Mouse Sports because Mouse Sports, they had this big Dota event. And they found an unsigned team there, and every single one, it seems like. So they're going to be making a presence under the old Ad Finum team, which they separated ways with just before the major. And other than that, we've got all of our qualified teams. No surprises here. We got Wings, OG, Liquid, Evil Geniuses, Digital Chaos, Newbie, and Team VGJ, which has been really fun to watch. They're just a bunch of Eastern players who've made a hell of a team, and they're not very old team, but they're a bunch of seasoned players coming under the VG title, and then adding on that J for their own squad. Other than that, the patch notes have dropped for 7.05. I'll just go over the general ones so you can go check out all of the rest of yours on their own on the Dota 2 blog. The biggest one, as far as competitive goes, is Train Protector has been put back into captain's mode. He got taken off for a little while because they had to do some tweaks to him, but he's back. Tower base armor has been reduced by 2. Towers now gain 1 more armor per enemy near, so 3 total per enemy now. You got Tower bonus armor is based on nearby heroes' AoE increased from 1200 to 1400. Shrines regain their base regen has been reduced from 100 down to 90, so you don't get the full heal off of them anymore. Intelligence spell based spell amplification increased from 1% per 16 intelligence to 1% per 15. So big buff for intelligent-based heroes like OD and Silencer. XP, this is the biggest one that I think is going to affect the most, is the XP required go from 20 to 25. It's been reduced by 895 experience points. So down from 10,895 down to an even 10,000. So people are going to be hitting 25 a lot faster. That should shorten games up a little bit, and it should just see a mass power spike nearing the end of the game, even quicker than usual. So those are some things that I'm looking very forward to seeing how they're going to shake out, and to see, Kiev Major, $1 million, $2 million on the line, always going to be entertaining to see. With that, let's go into our predictions. Let's start with JMax / Srixis with Smite.
So with Smite, as we said, it's only going to be 2 teams left. It's Tarrant County College and Stony Brook University. If you're unfamiliar with the teams, a quick team player rundown for it. It's Data Remember and Dingo Dial in the duo lane as the hunter and support player. In the mid lane for Tarrant County is Cardiac. He came back from Season 1 to return here in Season 3. Puckham, the newest member of the entirety of that squad, and Osauth going to be returning for his 3rd season alongside Data Remember. That's kind of the powerhouse team that everybody's been looking at because they're the returning championship team. All 4 of them, aside from Puckham, have all had at least 1 or now, for some of them, 2 championships under their belt. So it's the big team that everybody's looking at. On the side of Stony Brook, it's some of the Challenger Circuit players plus a few of their buddies. It's Mort Brooklyn in the support role for his team alongside Mando Warrior, who's going to be their hunter. Mid lane is Sir Bomberman. Jungle is Sam for Soccer 2. And in the solo lane is Giggle, who is a player that I've been very intrigued watching these last times. As far as these 2 teams go, my overall prediction, just to keep it kind of short, because I'm going to do a whole video on this very shortly, if not probably in like the next 30 minutes. Short prediction is I'm giving this as a 2-1 because these 2 teams are so strong with the players that they have on them. But unlike what my original prediction was at the beginning of the season, where I just felt Tarrant County was going to run away with it, I'm giving this 2-1 in favor of Stony Brook. The way that they competed this past weekend compared to what we've seen from any other team this season has been phenomenal. And I'm putting my full support behind Stony Brook this time around.
Sounds good. Strixus, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, so I have a lot of similar thoughts to JMac. I think both teams have looked extremely strong the last couple of days, especially this past weekend. I know that there was a little bit of trouble with Tarrant County with like some objectives. They got a portal demon stolen and maybe something else as well. They did do well to get back into their game. Stony Brook also looked fantastic. I'm not sure if they were on a different if their opponents were swapped, how well the teams would do in comparison to how these teams actually did this past Sunday. I think I'm leaning towards a 2-1 as well. I'm kind of leaning towards Tarrant County just from how hard I can see Data Remember carry.
Yeah.
Like, the dude's absolutely nuts. I think Data Remember is going to be an integral part of this set. I think if I might go back and watch more VODs and maybe I'll change my mind. But I think if Stony Brook doesn't just like focus down Day and maybe Osath as well, I think that this might be a little bit more in Tarrant County's favor.
Yeah,
yeah.
This more than anything is going to come down to who gets what on in the picks and bans. That's really
Yeah,
going to
absolutely.
determine a lot of the game. If these two teams can get what they want, I mean, they could very well just go straight up even with it. I'm also inclined to go either direction on the 2-1 because Tarrant County, a lot of their players do have LAN experience of some sort. Data Remember through Challenger Circuit, and then through what's been happening with AVGL, his second AVGL LAN. Osath and Dingo Dial are coming back for their second AVGL LAN. So I mean, it's gonna be crazy. But that's all that we got for this week. We'll have a whole big video of it.
Perfect. And then I know we're running close on time for you, Cameron. You want to take us through CSGO real quick?
Yeah, all we have that I make a prediction on is that Eleni Esports versus Ryerson game, because we don't even know the seeding for playoff brackets. Like, we don't have any, we're not gonna have any of that until for another whole week. And so the only prediction I can give you is in that game, and I'm gonna give it a close 2-1 to Eleni Esports, but they have let me down before, so it's gonna be it's gonna be close either way.
The anti-prediction, a bold move.
I try, but yeah, it's gonna be a close one either way. So yeah.
Oh yes. Either way, it's going to be a great game. And for me, I'm not actually going to tell you my predictions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Challenge, and I'm going to fill out a bracket, and you can find out what I think of the Dota scene as far as the AVGL goes. But when I post that bracket up on my Twitter, as far as Twitter goes, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter. You can go to the AVGL official, or to follow each game specifically, you can go to AVGL _ whatever game that is. So AVGL _ Smite _ Dota 2, _ CSGO _ Paladins. Follow them individually. You can always catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/AVGL official, and you can catch all the replays of anything we talk about here on our YouTube by clicking the little YouTube button down there. It's always a good thing to click, and always like our videos. Yes, exactly, awesome. So that's what I'm gonna do. A little teaser. Go to Challenge. You fill out this bracket. You can get prizes. It's what the April Anarchy is all about. So I'll let you know what I think a little later. And with that, I think it's time for us to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, very much for watching. Thank you, everybody, for coming on and being our panel as always. You guys kick ass. You guys pay way more attention than I ever did. And so with that, I think we're probably going to end this with a little bit of a bang. All right, have a good one, everybody.